Welcome to Sweet Knits Cute Dog Sweater Part 2. I had just finished my 5.5 inches. Now, when you end at the 5.5 inches, or however many inches you have to do, depending on the size, there we go. Those stitches right there, your V's, you want to be able to see those. So that's the front, or I guess the top of it, you should say. Okay, and your working yarn should be right there. Alright. You want to make sure you see those V's when you're ready to start on the sections that we're getting ready to do now. So once you do that, you will grab your double points. Alright. And you will slip your first stitch. Hold on. Slip your first stitch, just like you have been. And yeah, it gives you a certain number of stitches to knit. I'm trying to keep this on my hands, but it's hard to do. I mean, you're still sticking with the knit every row. So, you'll do your first section. Alright. Go ahead and make that to where you can't get to those stitches, you know. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is my first section, and that you'll have the same amount of stitches from your first also on your last. Alright. Now you could also, I would think that you could also use just regular knitting needles for this part, because all you're doing is knitting so many and then working back. You can probably even keep them on your circulars. I mean, there's gonna be a big gap in there, but I'm pretty sure that you could, you know, do the same or use the same needle. So alright, slip the first stitch and then knit. And that is all that you do. I will go ahead. Oh, and since you have to do, well, until the section, no, from here, okay. So you want to make sure you get your place markers. More place markers. Which I have a little tub full. So I can never run out of these things. Alright. Come on. Alright. And you want to turn this around because you'll end on this side, and you'll want to mark that first, if I can get it in there, the first stitches in there, that first row, yeah, and remember, keep track of how many rows that you do in each section. Now you'll do this this part from this stitch marker for 5 centimeters or 2 inches. However you want to measure it. I will measure it for 2 inches. So I already did just 2 rows right there. So keep knitting, and I will meet you back for the second section to help you get you started on that, so you can know how I add yarn in the middle of a project. Alright, I will be back. Okay, I'm back. I did my rows, so you can see. And that's my 2 inches. Now the yarn, okay, this is the front. The V's that I showed you are the top. Alright. It keeps moving. Camera keeps moving on me. So that's the top. You're going to do your, your 2 inches right here, and your work is going to end up on this side. There we go. There we go. Alright. So it's just like you're going to continue on. But you're going to stop right there. Pretty much throw that aside. You're done with that. I am going to go ahead and put mine on my stitch holder. Just so I don't have to worry. And I'm not twisting them or anything. I'm just pretty much throwing them off one needle onto my little holder. That's all I'm doing here. Okay. Alright. Close that up. Maybe. Alright, and those are my stitches that I'm going to ignore. Alright, then you pull out your second ball, second color, whatever. You can set your double points aside if you want to just use your needle that you have, your circular, straight, whatever needles you're using. Okay. If I can get mine to work with me here. Okay. Put all those over there. And for this one, I don't need my double points, since I'm just going to use my circular needle for this part. You just grab your yarn. Some people put a slip knot in it. Some people, whatever. I just, have a long tail. So sew that in. And oops. And yeah, I don't understand this. They want you to slip that first stitch. But, I mean, it's whatever, so. Alright. And then I start twisting the yarn. So the tail goes over the working yarn. See if I can get in a closer shot of this. Alright, so you put your needle in and you're ready for your work. That's your working yarn. You're going to grab your tail, and it's going to go over, so you twist those strands of yarn. And that, doing it that way, actually holds that yarn in back. So you don't have to weave it in later, you're weaving it in now. And you'll go, some people do 6, some do 10. I do it until I have less than ½ an inch left of the tail. And then I'll, the third row or whatever, I'll actually go back and I'll cut that tail. So I don't have to worry about it after that. Oops. But and this is how I do all my yarn whenever I add into the middle of the row, if I'm able to do it. And see, in the front, you can't tell. In the back, there's a little itty bitty. Come on. Focus for me. There we go. Kind of. There's a little itty bitty bump right there. But, that's it. And you're not going to notice that. Especially from the front. No one's going to turn this inside out. Especially if the dog is wearing it. So keep it on the dog at all times if you're hiding mistakes. Just hide the mistakes on the inside. The dog will hide it for you. Anyways, so you'll knit however many stitches, and then you'll you slip your stitch at the beginning of each row, and that's, you're still knitting just like this one, but you're knitting one less row. So your yarn, when you finish, will finish on the same side. It will finish all the way over on this side instead of this side. So, but you'll finish over there on that row. So if anything, just keep track of what row how many rows you did. Like if you did 24 rows on this here, on this 2 inches, you do 23 rows right here in the middle. That's as simple as pie. And as long as you actually come up to where your yarn is stopped in the right place, you'll be perfectly fine. But how I showed you how to start this row is how you will start this third section all the way over here. And you could keep this on your needle, on this one, on your circular, or you can put it on double points. I mean, they do it on double points, but really, I think it's all up to you. As long as you get those stitches and get the 2 inches or however many inches it ends up being, you're going to be fine. I mean, this is your chance to change up the pattern and make it your own. Anyways, all right, I am going to continue with this, and I will meet you back. Since the second and the third are all the same, I will meet you back at the next part of the video, which will be after you do all the sections. So you do all of them are at, we'll say those are 3 rows. That would be row 1, 2, and then 3 is, you know, that last one. After you do row 3, I will be back for row 4, because that's going to start the confusing stuff. Well, actually technically row 5 of that will be the confusing stuff, but you know, you get a head start in 4. And I will be back. Okay. I got the second section first. I got the first and second section done. Okay. Now I was reading the pattern and I forgot about a simple part you kind of need to know. So we are going to slip these stitches from the first section back on to the double points real quick, or quick like, so I don't split any yarn. If I can get it to work for me. Okay. All right, now for the second section, the second part of the pattern says facing the right side of the garment, which is where you see your little V's at. All right, if you see your V's, you're looking at the right side. So with it facing, you're going to knit so many stitches of this brown with your main color. So since this yarn, or this section, ended on the inside, but this one, since you're doing one row shorter, you're going to end on the opposite side, so those yarns meet. All right, so we are going to simply pick that up. We're going to tighten that stitch down. Alright, and your orange, just going to slide it, it's under the brown, but we're going to use it and wiggle that up to the top of the wood needle. Wooden needles are kind of hard to deal with, but anyways. And then how we did the beginning of that second section, we're going to twist the yarn up. Oops. If I can get it to twist. Alright. Now you notice that even though this was technically at the beginning of the row, I did not slip. It's because it doesn't want you to slip. Technically, it is the beginning of the row. Sorry, I just hit a wrong button and the camera stopped. Even though this is the beginning of the row that you're doing this at, you're starting it in the middle of the row. Therefore, you're not slipping that stitch, you're just knitting. You also picked up your old yarn too. So you'll continue this way. And then once you get done with section 2, when you get all the way to the other side, make sure you cut the yarn from the middle one, only from the middle one. You shouldn't need it, you know, all the way over. So I do 10 stitches and then cut it. Alright. And then you'll start your third section after that. Alright. Now seeing how it is 1:30 in the morning here where I'm at, I am going to pause, or more like stop this video. I'll cut and paste it together so it's only one piece, but I will start back up video part 2 tomorrow, or well, after 2 o'clock tomorrow in the afternoon. Anyways, okay. And we're going to give that brown a little tug. And we're going to cut it as close as we can. That's all you need for that brown. Or, well, whatever your secondary or your second ball is. That's all you need for it. Alright. I will be back tomorrow afternoon. Thank you.